Huh. How about now? Is it better? Looks like I had to reset a setting. Old time audio. Voice. Can you hear me okay? Man, that sucks when this kind of thing happens because this is a video that I didn't want to have any hiccups in. But this is why I'm starting a new channel, just for everybody wanting to know. Audio is fixed. Okay. So there's a link in the description. Can I post this here? Yeah. All right. So I'm posting this in the chat. You should probably go and subscribe to this channel because I'm working on the first 5 videos. This is going to be my edited, scripted. Every video is going to be 12 minutes, and there's not going to be any rambling. It's just going to be hard-hitting information that you know you should be able to learn from and live by. So make sure you subscribe. This is Crow's Nest. There's currently 110 subscribers right now. My goal is to get this up pretty quick. And I would like, ultimately, I'd like this channel to take over the Crypto Crow. Now, I will let everybody know that this new channel is not going to replace this one. We're going to be doing 2 different things on both of them. This is going to be my live channel. This is going to be where, if anything, what I'll probably end up doing is I'll be doing 12-minute edited, very clean, very entertaining, very solid videos on Crow's Nest. And then this channel, I may very well react to my own videos live and open everything up for discussion and things. So the 2 will kind of work hand in hand. They are completely disconnected. So my goal is, if anything were to happen to either channel, I've got the other to fall back on. And so make sure you support that channel. It is greatly appreciated. I want to get that past 100,000 subscribers ASAP. So let's move into this because there's a lot to discuss. And, I will tell you right now that I mean this wholeheartedly when I say the world is changing under your fingertips. Whether you're in the crypto or not, you will be using digital currency before you know it. You will, guaranteed, fact. It's going to happen. Okay. So the choice really right now is whether or not you want to position yourself to profit from its oncoming rule in the world, okay? Or if you just want to be ignorant to it and stay ignorant to it, not really learn a whole hell of a lot, not go anywhere, but basically just pay your bills in digital currency. And because what's happening and what's been happening for the past several years is we've been building this fundamental framework, right? Seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. Where's the market going? What's happening with this blockchain? How did this blockchain perform? How did that blockchain perform? What projects are of speculative interest to the public? What projects are not? Which projects actually have a strong use case in the Web3 economy, in the 4th industrial revolution? And we're learning a lot of this stuff through trial and error. Market phase to market phase, market cycle to market cycle. Okay, a lot of this stuff has been in education. And those of us that have been a part of this now for a while, me having gotten in 2017 and many others who have gotten in, as early as 2009 and 10. The majority, I think, of the early adopters were getting in around 2012, 2013. And, excuse me. That's actually part of what I'm covering, Patrick. So that's in here. So the stuff is actually happening, right? And, I'm going to show you some stuff that I want you to take note of, because when I think of what we're doing in the crypto space right now, a lot of people are focused on NFTs. Obviously, I've got my Murder of Crows NFT collection, and it's still selling. There's still stuff that we're doing with it. Tomorrow's a big day for the Murder of Crows. And, there's all that going on, and that's all fine and dandy, right? Fractionalized art. There's so many different things to NFTs that are going to become a bigger and bigger deal, but it's not really just about the little JPEG images you can buy, collect on rarity, speculate, trade on the secondary market, make profit over time, right? That's not even a guarantee. That's a very rare occurrence, okay, that a collection gets so big that the demand is always high, okay? It's rare, all right? Like I always tell everybody with the Murder of Crows, don't buy any expecting to make any money from them. Buy them because you think the art's cute, because it's fun. And over time, as use cases grow and demand grows on its own, not through a bunch of scammy pump and hype and garbage, you know, trying to make a quick mint off everybody. That's not the intent. The intent is, hey, here's some cool stuff out there. You know, they're mintable. You can mint them, collect them, have fun with them. You know, that's it. Whatever else happens, and whatever else comes of it is just a bonus. A lot of NFT projects are going to continue growing. The speculative nature of them, it is almost like trading on a commodity in some ways, right? Because some of these NFT collections are worth millions of dollars. You've got Banksy out there selling them for millions of dollars. And so there's a lot to that. However, the next phase, right? You know, the first phase, we saw Bitcoin. What does Bitcoin do? Oh, it's decentralized. It's digital currency. It's a digital store of value. You can send it from point A to point B with like tiny fees, and you can send value anywhere in the world. Okay, and basically avoid the congested banking system, right? That's just raping you with fees over and over. It takes days or weeks to send international transactions. All of that. Got a fake scammer in the thing here, obviously already. These people. So that being said, what's the next best thing or the next big thing? Well, then we had smart contracts, right? You had Ethereum, and you had all these platforms being built with if this and then that kind of smart contracts. And that did really, really well. That launched ICOs, the ability for companies with an idea and a white paper to basically get funding quickly and easily and effectively to build on their idea and find out if it works. Many ICO projects failed, went to the wayside. Some of them are still going strong today and continuing to build. But we learned from that market cycle. We learned a lot from that market cycle in that 2017, 2018, before everything started to really crash hard. And now we're in this new cycle, right? We're in this bear market cycle, and we're trying to figure out what's going to work, what's going to be profitable. How am I going to make money in the crypto space from here? And that's the big question. Where does my money belong? Number one is layer one blockchains, because it's the layer one blockchains that ultimately are going to dictate what's being built and the use case potential of these layer twos and these different protocols and different applications, whether it's dApps or games or whatever, right? And so when we look at a lot of this stuff, we can go into something like CoinGecko, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. So right now I'm on CoinGecko, and it's a Red Sea, obviously, which is just fine by me. But when we look at the different categories based on market cap, you can see Ethereum ecosystems, number one. You see smart contract platforms here, okay? Now, this, if I go into this, it's basically a collection of all the different smart contract platforms in the crypto space. All right. You see Ethereum, you see BNB actually in second to that, and then Cardano is third, and then you have Solana, Polkadot, Tron, Polygon, Matic, and so forth and so on. And there are a lot of pros and cons to a lot of these things, but the biggest con to Cardano is that it's not finished yet. A lot of these other projects that are ahead of, well, there's only a couple that are ahead of Cardano, is because Cardano's not a finished project. It is not, we still don't have all the interoperability. We still don't have all of the functionality that we're waiting to see with the Vassal hard fork, which is going to improve upon a lot of these issues associated with Cardano right now. And my number one thing being Hydra. And if you compare the technology behind Cardano against just about everything else, there is no comparison. I'm not trying to sell you on Cardano. What I'm trying to tell you is when I look at these layer one blockchains, the first thing that I want to focus on is what blockchain is going to empower both the developers and its user base with the most options for use case. I believe that's going to be Cardano. And I believe a lot of these others are going to find success. I mean, Solana, I don't really particularly care for Solana. I really don't. There's so many issues with Solana, in my opinion. And to me, it's just a venture pushed project. And I'll just leave it at that. It's a highly venture pushed project with the primary ownership belonging to the team and venture capitalists. That's not good. When you're talking about a decentralized type thing, it's not even all that decentralized, right? It's to me, it's bunk. But It doesn't stop the price from going up. Polkadot's pretty good stuff, but it's a pretty niche project as well, in my opinion. Tron, we've seen a lot of ups and downs with Tron. We've seen it hang out at a penny and then go up and not do a whole heck of a lot. And there are so many different kind of gimmicks associated with a lot of these different projects. Internet Computer, I think Internet Computer could probably be pretty big in the future. Hedera Hashgraph, HBAR, I think that has a lot of promise. EOS hasn't done anything since like 2017, 2018 that I'm aware of. So when I'm looking at these layer ones, I'm thinking, okay, well, the one project that has proven itself is Cardano. So then it brings me to say, okay, well, what kind of projects am I looking at to be successful on Cardano? So we're going to go into this. The top 10 technology trends of the fourth industrial revolution. Now, this sounds really boring. Like, okay, grab a snack and a pillow. I don't really know. This is going to get boring, Crow. No, it's not going to get boring. What this is going to do is going to show you what sort of technologies are going to be changing the world and redefining the way we interact with one another and the rest of the globe in a digital world, because that's where we're going, right? This isn't just about NFTs and computer games. This is about everything as we know it about to be changed dramatically. Number one use case, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if I see that, and I'm thinking, okay, what sort of projects would utilize artificial intelligence and machine learning in a big way? Well, let's face it. Obviously, layer one blockchains are going to play a significant role in that. But then, another use case that has been pretty lackluster for a while that I think personally is going to blow up is where is it? Storage, Filecoin, Sia Coin, stuff like this. Sia Coin has been, it's actually up quite a bit over where it used to be. I used to screw around in crypto casinos using Sia Coin because you can get like 1 billion of them for a couple bucks and just have some fun. And if you lost, it didn't matter. And I used to experiment with different strategies for like dice games and things. Filecoin is going to be a big one, currently trading at $5.61, down 11% over the last 7 days. $145 million in daily trade volume with a $1.5 billion market cap. Filecoin and these kinds of applications, Phantasma, Sol, I've always been bullish. I've always liked them. They've done actually pretty well because they were hanging out like 5 cents for a long time. Now they're at 25 cents, and that's after a big downward move. A lot of these projects are going to be projects that I'm going to be diving into to understand how a lot of these projects will be going into the fourth industrial revolution. How are these projects going to be utilized for these use cases as well as others? Because when you're talking about cloud-based artificial intelligence, cloud-based machine learning and things like that, there has to be places to store all of this data, this constantly growing and evolving data stream on a global scale. It's going to be decentralized storage. I'm telling you right now. And the more that these are utilized as these kinds of technologies continue to grow, that's where the money is going to be. Okay. I'm telling you right now, that is where the money is going to be. And the beauty of a lot of this stuff is you can get into a lot of these still relatively inexpensive because the use cases that utilize these kinds of technologies haven't grown yet. They are still infant babies in the grand scheme of what's coming. Okay. Next, Internet of Things. I say this all the time. The Internet of Things is going to be hugely significant, which is also going to need cloud-based, decentralized storage. Okay. Now, this isn't all about decentralized storage. This is just to paint a picture so that you kind of understand these are things that are coming. Today, there are 20 billion smart devices, but it is expected to grow to at least 200 billion connected devices soon. Let that sink in. Okay. Big data. Number 3, what it is. In simple terms, big data refers to the exponential explosion in the amount of data being generated in the increasingly digital age. What did I just tell you? And decentralized storage is going to play a significant role in facilitating this growing mass of data as it pertains to the fourth industrial revolution. And if you don't think that we are aiming for a fourth industrial revolution and what that actually means, you are missing the world changing under your fingertips. Why is this a thing? let's touch on this real quick. This might be a long video, but damn it, if you don't watch the entire thing to the end, you're going to miss out. I'm telling you right now, because I call it how I see it. I don't bullshit you. I tell you exactly what's going on, and I don't need a bunch of fluff and tough to make you really start to think about how the world is changing and what all this means to you. Okay, especially if you're in a position where you're new to crypto and you're trying to understand where your money may or may not belong. This video from start to finish is going to be all about that. So you don't skip off for the little 10-minute edited clip by some 13-year-old telling you to invest in some garbage coin because it's going to pump 10x tomorrow. The guy's full of shit. So, you know, I'm not all flashy and trashy, but I'm going to give it to you straight. Now, the whole idea to all of this stuff, and a lot of this of what tipped me off, is I read Klaus Schwab's book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, which spells a lot of this stuff out. Okay. And it really helped me by pointing me in the right direction, because the way I see it, and if you see the way all of these things have transpired, whether it was from the pandemic or, you know, the different wars that are going on and the way the world is changing, and everybody's trying to force everyone into this global system, or even a couple different global systems that are ultimately sharing, working with one another. Some of these countries don't want any part of that. They don't want any part of this kind of this new world, right? This fourth industrial revolution, this kind of thing that, you know, everybody's working together for the same goals. And so some of these countries don't like it. And so we're fighting it out a little bit. And that's basically what's going on right now. But I can tell you, it's not going to change anything. All of this stuff is going to be happening whether you like it or not, whether, you know, other countries like it or not. Some countries have a position in the space right now in the global economy that they're quite happy with. They don't want to kind of lower themselves or raise themselves. They don't want to, you know, be a part of the grand scheme. Now, some of the things that have changed are, you know, like basically keeping everyone in their homes, people working from home now. That's become such a big deal. People working from homes, teleconferencing, using things like Zoom or Google Hangout or whatever for office meetings, instead of the abundance of time wasted and money wasted driving to work, creating carbon emissions to and from work, right? That's a thing. That's a thing because it's environmentally friendly. So you don't want to drive to work. You don't want to drive a car. Why do you need a car? That's the next thing. You know, why do you need a car when you have nowhere to be? Because you're going to work from home. You're going to play from home. You're going to eat from home. Whatever you need is going to be delivered to you, right? That's the world we're heading in. We all have our little domiciles, our little bubbles, and what gets into that bubble is going to be what the algorithms think we want, and what we take out of our bubble is going to be what basically the world thinks we should take. So that is one of the reasons why I think we're seeing such a huge push in metaverse technology. You know, I watched the entire 3-hour interview with Mark Zuckerberg and Joe Rogan, and I was listening to Mark Zuckerberg talk about the metaverse and the billions of dollars they're pumping in to metaverse development technology. And I'm thinking to myself, of course you are, because you have one of the biggest social platforms in the world, and you are wanting to put all of us in these little bubbles, and all of that data is extremely valuable. And on top of that, when you've got the entire world in these little bubbles where their socialization is basically meant or influenced by algorithms, right? You know, if you say, I love potato pancakes and in something, then all of a sudden you're seeing all these ads for potato pancakes, and you're going to see articles about potato pancake. Everything you see in your world, in your bubble, is going to be about potato pancakes until you start to lose interest and the algorithm starts taking you in other directions. That's why we live, even politically, we live in these political bubbles where we're constantly subjected to information associated with what these algorithms think we already believe. And it solidifies this bubble that becomes so strong that anything outside of the narrative we've already kind of adopted or signed up to sounds outrageous. It sounds crazy. We don't believe it. It doesn't make any sense. There's no way that's right, because I've been seeing all this stuff for so long now that anything outside of that is considered fringe, right? And what is fringe? Well, fringe is it's low on the totem pole. It's crazy ideas. But we're going to be seeing that more and more and more as we continue to move forward. And the technology that's going to play a significant role in a lot of this stuff is going to be the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, because this is going to continue to grow as it permeates through our Internet of Things, our vehicle, our refrigerators, our camera phones, our whatever. And that Internet of Things is going to continue to grow on like 5G based technologies, which is still being implemented throughout. And to take it a step further, we have companies like World Mobile Token that are connecting the unconnected. They're building these mesh networks so that people are able to connect into these social structures, these digital structures all over the place, so that they too can come in and play with their CBDC tokens of whatever country, and pay taxes and generate wealth and generate money in these artificially intelligent managed infrastructures, okay, that is meant to empower the world and kind of bring everybody into one kind of core. So that being said, big data is going to be a significantly growing thing, and it's happening, okay? Blockchains, obviously, blockchains are going to play a big role in this. Cloud and edge computing, obviously, for all the reasons I've already discussed, all right? Robots and cobots. What is it? Today's robots can be defined as intelligent machines that can understand and respond to their environment and perform routine or complex tasks routinely, okay? In this data-driven age, it's the intelligence and ability to act autonomously that defines robots and separates them from other machines. The rise of collaborative robots, or cobots, is the latest generation of robotic systems designed to work alongside humans as robotic colleagues. Cobots enhance the work that humans do and interact safely and easily with the human workforce. Extra robotic muscle in the workplace. Okay, now we're going to continue seeing a rise in robotic technology. I mean, it's being developed all over the place. Elon Musk is working on stuff. I mean, there's so many different groups that are working on this. These robots and cobots are also going to play a significant role in the Internet of Things. They're going to help keep track of, hey, you're running out of this product. Hey, you need some more of this product. Hey, you need this cleaned, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. But outside of that, and what this doesn't mention, and I don't even know, I haven't even looked through this entire list yet, but I knew it was on it because I read Klaus Schwab's Fourth Industrial Revolution. So I kind of get a gist. Robots are going to mean a lot more than just some little R2-D2 running around your apartment, helping you, check for security flaws in your room or cleaning your carpet. There are going to be internal robots working inside our very bodies. Okay. And when you start looking at things like smart dust, and you start looking at the technology and how through nanotechnology, we are going to be able to ultimately, how should I say this without getting like tagged or flagged in a wrong way? But ultimately, there are ways to put nanotechnology into the human body, and these nanoparticles, or the smart dust, they can then connect to one another within your system and grow and become whatever sort of robot the body may need. And this could be good or bad, depending on who's in control of this technology, right? Because in a lot of cases, a lot of the technology that I see associated with these kind of nanobots is basically to keep track of your blood pressure. Maybe you have a significant illness, and this nanotech is able to basically monitor that and potentially dose you with the proper medications as necessary over time. I mean, there's a lot of really good applications for this kind of technology. And where is this data going to go? Well, it's going to go towards cloud and edge computing and machine learning and so forth and so on, and big data onto these big decentralized cloud-based file storage utilities. And it's all going to be on the blockchain. Okay. So when you think about any of this kind of technology and you just drill down just a little bit, it doesn't take much to understand how the world is shaping up and what everything means. Autonomous vehicles, everybody knows the Teslas and a lot of these vehicles. I mean, they're all going to be driving themselves soon enough. Okay. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. The 5G network, the big death knell everybody's been so afraid of for so long. We already have it everywhere. I mean, we there's 5G tech all over the place. Nobody's just dropping from convulsions or anything, okay? And a lot of this stuff when Wi-Fi and things like that, when that technology first launched, there's a lot of similar contention associated with it. A lot of people were worried, like, oh, these waves are going to be going through the air, they're going to fry our brains and this and that. Well, we still have nothing scrambled yet. We still have noodles intact. So I'm not convinced that there's anything necessarily bad about 5G. Maybe if you're crawling around some of these towers, but you also don't lay on the engine of a hot car at 200 degrees either. So, it's like I can drive the car. I look at my car and it tells me it's 175 degrees. Okay, well, don't lay on it. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much all there is to it. So, that's that, right? Genomics and gene editing. Well, here we go. I mean, I touched on this already, but let's see what this has to say. What it is, genomics is an interdisciplinary field of biology that focuses on the understanding and manipulation of DNA and genomes of living organisms. It's funny because why has this been a topic of discussion lately over the past couple years? Gene editing is a group of technologies that enables genetic engineering in order to change the DNA and genetic structure of living organisms. Increasingly powerful computers and sophisticated software tools now available were instrumental in helping us understand the human genome since it was first accurately sequenced in 2003. Today, biotechnology has advanced to the point where it's viable to alter the DNA encoded within a cell and influence the characteristics that its descendants will have after it reproduces by cell division. And then finally on this list is quantum computing, which we already know is a thing. We already know that several blockchains, including Cardano. Sorry, that was a Mark Mark Cuban Freudian slip, Cardano. But we know that this is a really big thing, and this is all happening right now. This is all being built. The foundation for all of this is being built right now. Okay, so when I think of all this technology, I think to myself, what sort of blockchain applications are going to help facilitate this technology as it continues to move forward? That is where my money is going in crypto. That is how you make millions between now and 2025 and 2026 and beyond. Because as all of this starts to come to fruition, it's going to be these blockchain-based applications that have proven themselves over time, like the Filecoin, the Sia coin, that kind of thing. These layer one blockchains that are going to help facilitate all this transactional throughput, unlike anything else that's been seen so far, in a way that actually matters on a blockchain that's basically secure. We might have blockchains that can do significant throughput for small bits of information, and it looks impressive on paper, but how secure are they? We're seeing time and time again that a lot of these blockchains are not secure. It's a lot of crap thrown against the wall, hoping something sticks while the development teams are funded, for years to further the development of those blockchains in hopes that they're able to patch any holes or security issues over time, rather than launch them the right way from the beginning, like Cardano. Okay, now let's take a look at some other stuff. U.S. federal researchers say digital dollar may improve rather than worsen financial stability. This is a pretty big deal. Oh, man, this stuff is okay. So one of the primary worries raised concerning a central bank digital currency is the possibility that it might increase the frequency of run-on banks and other financial intermediaries. However, a new working paper by two U.S. federal researchers for the Office of Financial Research, an arm of the U.S. Treasury Department, published on July 12th, suggests two ways in which a CBDC can strengthen financial stability rather than damage it. Keep in mind, we're seeing a lot of information coming out about CBDC tokens. This is becoming a real topic of regular discussion across the board on a global basis. And I'll show you why. Here's some more. Well, this one states, creating a CBDC would take at least 5 years, federal vice chair. Okay. Now, this is all the way back in May of 26. Even after securing the required congressional approval, a CBDC would take a long time to design and implement, the Federal Reserve Vice Chair has said. You know what? That could be true, but I guarantee you they're already working on it. So from the time a lot of this stuff goes through the White House and Congress and all this other stuff, it's not going to be 5 years. I can tell you right now, I would be willing to hazard a guess that a lot of this stuff kicks off probably post Bitcoin halving in 2024, but before the next bull cycle. Why? Because I believe that the CBDC tokens that do get issued, whether it's this Fed Now stuff, we'll touch back on that in a minute, or it's these CBDC tokens, these are going to be used in centralized exchanges. I mean, hands down, this is going to be your gateway into the crypto space and out of the crypto space. They're going to monitor absolutely every bit of it. And I do believe that that's going to happen before this next cycle. Okay. So this whole business about 5 years, I think a lot of that is garbage. I just don't buy it. I think they're already building it. And I'm going to show you, I've got like 6 different articles. I'm not going to read them all, but I'm going to show you the CBDCs are a thing of the world already. Okay. It's already getting to the point where it's already in full effect. So Reserve Chair Lael Brainerd has stated to the House Committee on Financial Services that a central bank digital currency would take at least 5 years to build. White House and congressional approval would be required. Brainerd says launching a CBDC would ensure that stable coins do not become the dominant form of US dollars. Okay, that's saying it right there. All right, this is about making sure that the stable coin market doesn't stay stable and isn't more widely adopted as the crypto markets continue to grow, as all of these other technologies continue to take shape. All right, that's what this is about. The race is on. The race is absolutely on. The digital US dollar is a threat to civil liberties. This is a whole article about from Bitcoin groups where they're basically talking about what's to come and what they think. So let's take a quick look. For many people, Bitcoin is synonymous with freedom, decentralization, independence in the future. Some consider it akin to anarchy, an online revolution that began with the minting of the first block of Bitcoin that flipped the proverbial bird at central banks and government policymakers. For governments, however, the vista is different. Generally speaking, those who govern others routinely perceive the cryptocurrency ecosphere as a lawless place, used to fund terrorism and other illicit activities, launder money, and evade taxes. That's the narrative that we heard all throughout 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, until what? Until a lot of these major institutional Wall Street players were able to get their trading desks and their stakes and everything else situated so that from an institutional perspective, they were able to capitalize on the ebbs and flows of the cryptocurrency market and the demand for that technology. Now, a lot of this stuff is changing. In response to the trillions of dollars of investor and commercial interest, President Joe Biden issued an executive order calling on the government to examine the risks and benefits of cryptocurrencies. The executive order's explicit aim is to explore a U.S. central bank digital currency, which would be a digital fiat backed by the U.S. government. But if the original purpose behind the creation of cryptocurrency was to eliminate government control and oversight over fiat and monetary policy, how far will the U.S. government's control over its citizens' digital currency extend? Well, I'm going to tell you guys right now that when we launch the first series of 5 videos on this new channel that you guys should be subscribing to, if you're not already, I'm going to be going deep into some information related to the digital, the CBDCs that I'm not covering on this channel. Okay. So make sure you go and you subscribe because it's big. And I think it's going to be eye-opening in a way that nobody's really talking about. All right. So we've got that. What else? Japan central bank shelves plans for CBDC due to a lack of public interest. I know that when they were starting this off, they were trying to basically do all sorts of stuff to get people to use it. But Japan isn't like China. So, you know, Japan was also one of the countries that wasn't playing to any of the big narratives going on over the past couple of years. Let's just put it that way. So we'll have to see what happens with Japan. But something tells me that when the entire world around them is utilizing CBDCs for international transactions, they'll probably catch up. European Central Bank hails CBDC holy grail of cross-border payments. Okay. I mean, you guys getting the picture already? The Reserve Bank of Australia to explore use cases for CBDC. This is happening. 3/4 of institutions to use crypto in the 3 years. Ripple's new value report on enterprise crypto and blockchain highlights NFT, blockchain, and CBDC utility in business settings. This is all happening. Why Colombia will create CBDC to reduce tax evasion. So this is actually a little more telling than most because there's so much information with this and because it's all trackable. It's programmable. They can control who gets them, how they get them, how they use them, when they use them, everything. And if you can do that, you could be daggone sure that, you know, the 87,000 IRS agents that are being hired for the US, they're going to have a lot more work to do, because they're going to be able to track absolutely everything that is being done by every United States citizen through these CBDC tokens. And that's all there is to it. So the question here is, you know, like Taiwan to launch digital ministry, use Web 3.0 against Chinese cyber attacks. China, next phase of CBDC testing with eCNY payment for public transport. Folks, this just goes on and on and on. Every country in the world is going to be utilizing CBDC tokens, okay? And so when you think about all of this, you have to think to yourself, okay, we have this whole idea of this fourth industrial revolution. We know that it's big. It's all a big part of the World Economic Forum and their overall agenda for a global economy. All right. And the thing of it is everyone in power right now wants as much of this to happen under their reign as possible. Okay. Because well, for a lot of reasons. Number one, because they get to call the shots, right? And if you're talking about, let's just say the entire world, not just this country, but let's say the entire world were divided into two halves. One half has all the control right now, while the other one doesn't seem to have much control. And even if they did, I feel like it's all kind of controlled opposition anyway. All right. To me, in my opinion, there's definitely an agenda going on here. And I don't necessarily believe that agenda is focused on being for the people, by the people, unless you're talking about the few people that are actually pulling all the strings for a lot of this stuff. The rest of us are just consumers that are almost like batteries for the matrix in a sense. That's the way I look at everything anymore. The way I see it is CBDCs, programmable digital money controlled by the government, is going to enable them to do so many things they've never been able to do before. So from here, it's a decision as to in what sort of financial position do I truly want to have when a lot of this stuff really starts to culminate, and I start seeing these CBDCs are active everywhere. We're pushed to use them. All the money in our bank accounts are either completely gone away with, or they're converted into CBDCs from that moment forward. And we're all given a certain amount of time to say, okay, if you want to utilize the money that you have, you have to do X, Y, Z to prepare yourself in your systems. You're going to have to get these mobile wallets. You're going to have to do this and that. And everybody's educated on that. And then from that point, us YouTubers are basically tasked with, educating people on the utilization of these CBDCs, how they're to be used, how, all of that. And maybe we're even incentivized, because I know that people all over the place have been incentivized to promote and discuss other things of a controversial nature in the past. Okay. So this is what you have to consider. And I also believe that when you take all of this, okay, and you create one big picture of how all of this is going to work together, it explains why so many things have been happening. Okay. It explains why, if you're thinking about the wars and you're thinking about the way that so many countries kind of rely on one another for this resource or that resource, and the way that the supply chains have really taken a hit, not just in the US, but all over the place, all over the world. And a lot of that is because a lot of these countries are working together and following the same kind of agenda, and they're trying to bring some of these other key players on board to be a part of that agenda before we can effectively move forward in a powerful way. And some of these are putting up quite a bit of resistance, as we're seeing. And the way we're sold on a lot of this isn't necessarily, in my opinion, the total truth. Okay. I believe that there's a lot of kind of smoke and mirrors being thrown around, but in the grand scheme of things, it's definitely all about a globalization of power into the hands of a central group that ultimately, I don't know, maybe you want to call it a technocratic kind of governmental rule. But rather than it be country by country, it's basically everybody. It starts from the top and it filters down through all the other countries that are involved in this grand scheme. And they just want to make sure that everybody else is on board. And think about it. If Russia is a major provider of resources and fuel and things like that, we need them on board. If China is a part of, cheap manufacturing and think about it. How many products do you have right now all throughout your house that were made in China? There's a reason for that. We don't want to be in a fight with them. We want to basically maintain a positive relationship. But then you've got Taiwan, and that whole situation is creating a big issue because China says Taiwan is us, Taiwan is ours, and everyone else is saying, well, if you control them, you're going to control a hell of a lot, and you're going to have a lot more power than we're comfortable with because they control a lot of the microchips and a lot of the things that we use. And it's all a part of this whole fourth industrial revolution. And Taiwan plays a very significant deal in that, right? So when you look at the grander picture, not just what you're seeing on the news, not just like, this big bully is picking on this little guy. It's not even about that. It's about this global plan, this fourth industrial revolution. And they're trying to make sure that every piece to that puzzle is able to come together into one full picture. And that's what we're seeing a lot about. And in the midst of all of that, if you're talking about a fourth industrial revolution and you're talking about technologies that are going to continue to grow and build, you're talking about Internet of Things. You're talking about 5G tech. You're talking about decentralized cloud-based storage for all of the data. You're talking about a lot of stuff. So, when the whole point of this video is, how are you going to become a millionaire by 2025 and 2026? Open your damn eyes for starters. Stop focusing so much on these little stupid kid projects. I launched Murder Crows, my own NFT collection. I love it, and it's a lot of fun. It's okay to have fun. But stop looking at these kinds of things as the end-all, be-all to your future growth, because that's not what's happening. That's not what this is about. Metaverse technology is going to be a significant thing, okay? Cornucopias, everybody knows. I'm hugely bullish on Cornucopias and everything that they're building. I even like some of the smaller projects like Eartha. I think Eartha is going to be a really cool simulation of they're using a global map broken down into hexes, right? And each hex has different resources and things. You're going to be able to build an empire in that world. I think that's insanely awesome, and it's continuing to grow. There's so many different applications out there, Decentraland, Sandbox, a lot of these things. I think the metaverse overall isn't just about one platform. The metaverse as a whole is an alternative reality that we dive into to escape our bubbles. Just like Ready Player One, Ready Player Two. A lot of this stuff is all about taking us out of the world that we physically live in and putting our minds somewhere else, where you can see through social conditioning. We can be anything or anyone. We can identify any way we want. We are able to be whoever, whatever, at whatever time. To me, that is social programming for what kind of lifestyles everyone will live in the metaverse, where you can be and do anything at any time. There will be a system, a world, a universe, a game, a something that will cater to whatever those interests are. And when you talk about the metaverse, you also have to talk about all these other technologies. 5G, Internet of Things, nanotechnology, you name it. Because I can guarantee you there's going to come a time. There's going to be a time when, as we continue to move forward and we have instruments like, Elon Musk and the little brain chip, and we have nanotechnology through our bodies, and we're able to log into a metaverse and actually be in that metaverse on our own free will. How many people do you think are going to live in a Call of Duty metaverse where everything you do, you feel in your own body as though you are truly there? How many people do you think are going to take advantage of that technology and want to be there as much as humanly possible rather than their own real life? I can tell you right now, that day is coming. Whether it's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I don't even think it'll take that long. But it's about the technologies that are building now and laying the foundational framework for that kind of technology, that kind of way of life. Never mind like the finance, the supply chains, the trackability, using blockchains for tracking products from point A to point B. These digital transactions that are going to flow like the blood through the veins of each and every one of us. Fluid, constant, streaming. No, like XRP and the whole technology behind it. It's about remittance. Things like Divi token. They're all trying to solve these remittance problems when you're sending an international transfer of large amounts of money that get caught up in the banking system and then sit there dormant, doing nothing, earning nothing, not being used for weeks at a time. All that is going to go away, and we're going to save trillions of dollars in the midst of all of that. And not only that, but the speed and the fluidity, the liquidity, all of these entities associated with all this technology is what's going to make early adopters and those who are really starting to pay attention right now stupid wealthy. But you really got to start putting in the work, and you really start got to doing your, and let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these technologies? Which of these technologies, these cryptocurrencies, these projects, do you think it's any of these that exist today that are going to play significant roles in this fourth industrial revolution? Or do you think that there's new technology that's sprouting up that you think is going to be better than what's currently out there and available? And if you think so, let me know in the comments. And that's it. I'm not even going to go to comments today. I'm going to address the comments below because I want to keep this video short enough that it's not going to, push people away. But I see all of you guys in there. I love you guys. I miss you. Make sure you follow my new channel because there's some really good hard-hitting stuff that's coming. And until next time, guys, crow your coins, and I'll see you very soon.